Hello viewers, it's John again, playing 5 Minute, and I have another French defense. I'm going to play knight c3 this time, and one of the main lines. Last time I played the King's Indian attack against Grandmaster Orange, and that didn't go very well.
Check.
So let's do better this time, huh? Also, I've switched from 3-minute that I've been playing for the last few games to 5-minute. There seems to be a clear preference amongst viewers for the 5-minute games, and I agree. It allows me to do better commentary, higher quality commentary, and still be able to play a decent game at the same time. Not like my losses in 3-minute can be immediately chalked up to having to do commentary while playing, but you know, it's probably a small factor. Also, I'm just really slow. Okay, this is a line that I have played off and on for white. I don't know about bishop c5 because I thought a6 was the move to keep my knight out of b5. But I suppose he could go like knight b5, king e7. And maybe I don't have so much there. I wonder about that line. Well, let's give it a shot. Because if he goes king e7, knight c7, rook b8, maybe bishop f4 is problematic for him a little bit. I just don't know if I should play bishop f4 after I play knight e7, knight c7, or before, like right now. Because if I play it now, he can go bishop d7, and he develops more seamlessly. It's a tough call. Well, I'm going to do this. I think he is going to be more or less okay in this line, but we'll see. I would expect bishop d6. Or that. Okay. Now I've got to take some precautions that I don't lose my knight. Oh, if I castle, I lose the f2 pawn, huh? Really don't want to get my knight stranded. That would be bad. Okay, let's do this. It might give up f2, but we'll see. I can play bishop d6 check then. Might not be a disaster. I guess I would predict him playing like rook c8, one of his rooks to c8. Okay, that is bad, right? I can take and then play knight a6. That's got to be a bad decision. Yeah, I'm just winning material. Because if he plays rook b5, I take. He takes with his rook, I have bishop d6 check. Picking up his rook. Big blunder by black. Yeah, he's just busted. He can't even sacrifice the exchange because I'm hitting b8 with both my knight and my bishop. So, wow, short video. Yeah, we were just barely over 3 minutes of recording time. So if we go back in this one, this line, because this is the Rubinstein variation of the French, where black takes on e4, it has a solid reputation. It's hard for white to get a whole lot, I think, in this line if black plays it correctly. So there's bishop d7 in this position, the so-called Fort Knox variation, where black tries to put the bishop on c6 and then develop the knight to d7. And there's also the main line that this guy played, knight d7. Now, usually white just goes knight f3, but g3 is a line I've played off and on. Actually, I vividly remember playing this line at the grade level nationals when I was in, I think, 9th grade, and it won me a key game. I ended up winning the tournament. I don't even know if I've played it since that game, actually. And in 9th grade, that was 2000. So yeah, maybe OTB, I haven't played this line for 14 years. So my memory of it might be a little rusty, but I have looked at this with students in the somewhat recent past. So c5 is good, and here white can play knight e2 or knight f3. They're similar. And the idea is to play for this endgame, which I think is maybe slightly advantageous for white. I'm only familiar with a6. I don't know about bishop c5. I mean, I played the principal move knight b5, but I'm kind of thinking that knight b3 might be better. With one idea, let's say he goes here just to run my a pawn and try to activate my pawn majority on the swing. The real goal would be to go a5, a6, but I'm sure he won't allow that. He'll play a6 or a5 himself. So maybe that's better than the tempo gaining move knight b5, which is hard to ignore once you see it, but knight b3 might be more clear cut. So I went here, he went king e7, jumped in. Yeah, if I could do this over again, I would play bishop f4 first. But I just didn't think that I had much after bishop d7 hitting my knight. I could jump in now, but then rook b8, let's say. And I'm going to face a similar problem that I faced in the game, how to get my knight out of here. Yeah, so knight c7, I just hadn't considered how stranded this knight could possibly be after the simple move bishop d7. I think I'm in some trouble at this point. I mean, a simple way of trying to win the knight for him would be, let's say, rook hc8 and then bishop b6, or rook hc8 and maybe knight h5 to knock my dark square bishop, the only defender of c7, off balance. So I just castled, kind of hoping for the best. And I thought he should like maybe take on f2, or maybe just play that rook hc8 move I was talking about. But very fortunate for me, he just immediately blundered bishop c6. Huge break, because then I take and play knight a6, and yeah, he's busted. And just to illustrate that tactic, the reason why he can't go rook b5 is that after take and take, I have bishop d6, check, just winning the rook. So, abrupt ending to this one. Let's just check a couple of those moments. First moment I want to check is the bishop c5 move. And I'll be looking to see whether the computer prefers knight b5 or knight b3. I don't think any other move is decent. Like bishop e3 maybe has some merit just because there's some discoveries, but it doesn't look, I don't know, it doesn't look right. Knight g4 is in the air for him. So let's see what the engine says about that. Yeah, the engine likes knight b3. That's interesting. It's one of those moves that doesn't come to mind right away because you just look at knight b5 and you're like, okay, that's got to be good. But on closer reflection, this move does seem stronger. And then after bishop b6, will it say a4? Just as castle. I like a4 though, because I think that forces him to make an awkward decision. Does he want to play a5 when the pawn is potentially fixed on a weak square? Or does he play a6 and allow my pawn to come forward to a5, which might end up fixing this structure? So it prefers white pretty significantly here. Yeah, knight b5, clearly worse. Now black's okay. Bishop e7, knight c7. Went on this excursion with my knight that was not promising. Bishop d7. Okay, it likes castling for me. I'm surprised it doesn't say I'm worse. I'm pretty shocked about that. He can take on f2, but bishop d6 check. Okay, so I have something in this line. Oh, knight takes e6, okay. Check. Yeah, now his rook is undefended. This rook is no longer protecting it. So maybe I have more resources in this line than I thought, but now, yeah, I mean, what am I going to do about rook hc8? How do I save my knight? Maybe I don't save it. Maybe I just have to sack it for 2 pieces at some point soon. Okay, rook he1. Let's say bishop b6. Oh, okay, so I still have this move if necessary. And then what? Knight b5. Tricky footwork to get the knight out, so that if he takes it, then I have bishop takes b8 check on the king. Discover check. What about knight h5? Oh, knight h5, okay. I think I see the problem with knight h5 now. So if knight h5, I have knight d5 check. Check. And then I can pick up his rook on b8. Okay, well, that is somewhat heartening to know. That rook he1 gives me more options than I thought. That is a strong move. Just the point about knight d5 check being possible now for white. That helps up my position significantly. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay. Yeah, just unfortunate move by him. White wins. Okay. Well, quick game, but I hope that was somewhat instructive. And please leave me any feedback in the comments. Hope you guys have a good end to your weekend. Let's hit Monday the ground running, okay? I'll be back. I'll be back with some more videos. All right. Bye, guys.